Now, as I said, we're going to talk about the bad things of the stock market. And so here we are. There are two types of stock markets, and they personify them with bull and bear. A bull is an aggressive animal. It charges, and it's something you want to stay out of the way of. But more or less, we're going to take the aggressive nature of this. A bull market is when stock prices are rising. And so you want to jump in on a bull market because that means there's been a lot of stock market prices going up, etc. And so we want to get on the ground. The transverse of that, the opposite of that, is called a bear. Because although a bear being aggressive as well, a bear is also known to hibernate. And so a bear market is known when the prices are going down. You don't want to get involved with a bear. With a bull, you want to kind of run with them. All right. Remember the running of the bulls, run away from the sleeping bear. That maybe help you remember this out. Now, in the 1920s, everyone wanted to get rich quick, just like they do today. And so people began to buy stocks on what is called speculation. And speculation is, hey, I think this is a great idea. Let's jump in on the ground floor. And you're not doing any research. You're not doing any checking. You're simply, as the question mark kind of implies, guessing. And so maybe you're good, maybe you're not. Now, coupled with speculation is also their evil twin that goes in there. And it's margin. And so I have this little Star Trek thing, right? Let me hold $1. And the idea of margin is that if you want to get on this stock and it costs you $100, but all you have is 10, your broker will say, hey, let me hold that $10. You can owe me the 90 and eventually you'll make it. Now the problem is you've lost that money. And if the stock goes bad, you still have to pay him that $90. But people in the 1920s said, sure, I can give you the $10. That won't hurt me. And it's a win-win. If I lose it, I lose the $10. They didn't stop to think about the money they would have to pay back. And so that's something very important going forward. And so margin is little money down. So guessing on your stocks and then paying little money down and owing these brokers are the two worst things that anybody could possibly do. Now, if the stock market continues to go bad and there's not money in circulation, they go to the brokers and they say, all right, call your people, we need more money. And they issue what are called margin calls. If they call you for a margin call, that means you've got to pay your loan out in full, or they're going to put a lien on your bank account, attach your bank things. There's any number of things they could do. Now, in 1929, money started running out, and we'll talk about why the money started running out here in a second. But the idea happened, we need more money. So they went to these people, famous people, unfamous people, didn't matter, asked for margin call, and everyone didn't have it. So the logical thing they did is what? Let's go to the banks, right? Now these are major banks across the world, and they have different things that they help you out with. So what happens? They go to the banks to get their money to pay them, but the banks don't have their money. At this time, there is no deposit insurance. The banks have gambled away their money themselves in where? Stock market. Because no one's keeping track. No one's telling the banks, you're a commercial bank. That's somebody's hard-earned check that you're going and putting in a stock market for yourself. And that's wrong. We call that unregulated banking. In laissez-faire, you allow the banks to do what they want, and the banks are all about making what? More money. And so their thought was spend money to make money, even if it's not yours. And so when these people go to pull their money out, there is no money. And so what happens is you don't have money. You're now unemployed. You're going to lose your house. These banks don't have money. They're going to start to close. And this is a horrible, horrible situation, is it not? Now, the people who are encouraging you to get rid of your money, they are called brokers. And the brokers are kind of the middlemen between you and the businesses. They go and they work out deals on shares and things like that. However, they are also the ones who issue the margin call. To show you a story of a broker, and I would not suggest seeing this because it was bad, but the book is maybe okay. The Wolf on Wall Street. Wolf on Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill are both brokers, and they're making money in this, and it's maybe just a horrible movie, but something maybe people have heard about. Now, I do need you to add this. I left it off. If you'll put Black Tuesday is the day that after they issue the margin call, there's no money and the stock market crashed. It bottomed out. And it happened on October 29th, 1929. And so from that point on, that is the kind of official start of the Great Depression. The Great Depression had been looming for a while because of trickle-down economics, because of what is happening in the stock market, because of installment plans and high credit things. But this just kind of did it. Now, last thing I want to show you is the unemployment rate. You see, when it goes up, that's bad. And so people, they'll say this and they go, oh, that's not bad because it's going up. No, if it goes up, that means more people are unemployed. And at the height of the Depression in 1933, we're at 25%. That means 1 in 4 people didn't have a job. And so that's where we're at in the Great Depression. And you can tell as we've gotten out of the Depression following 1945-46 era, we have delved. In the 80s, we got up to 10%. And right here in about in 2008, we got up to about 10-11% as well. So the main point is we don't ever want to get to the Depression level, and I don't think we will. There's certain things been placed in there, and we'll possibly look at that later on. Now, the last thing we're going to look at is how the farm debt and how our practices with other countries actually hurt us as well. Now, I want you to here be able to tell us about unregulated and bad practices of the stock market, and how banks used the stock market and how this was a bad thing, and we'll talk about FDR later on and how he tried to fix that.